Hello everyone and welcome to Galaxy 89 Cars. So I've returned to my normal shooting location. So before this point I've started every single one of my videos pretty much, or at least all of my vlogs, standing up with my camera held up high. So I thought, why not change it up a bit? So you see me here sitting on the road. So I've almost had my Abarth for a year and I can't believe it's gone so fast. I purchased it November last year and now we're just coming into August. So I thought it was about time that I did a 5 things or X number of things that I hate and an X number of things I love about my car. This doesn't necessarily have to be an arty type of video, but what I really want to do is present each of these things in a way that could maybe not necessarily influence, but inform a consumer decision for anyone that wants to maybe buy one of these in the future. Now don't get me wrong, there are lots of things I absolutely love about it. And in fact, a lot of things that I'm going to say that irritate me or that I hate today are things that may have another side and I might actually like. But overall, I have to say I've had a really enjoyable time owning the Abarth. It's offered me so many opportunities I had no idea that I would be offered before. And just the experience of owning a car and sharing it with a group of people online as well has been a forced opportunity to reflect. So anyway, let's get to the first few points. So the first thing I'm going to highlight that I really don't like about my Abarth are the little plastic bits in the front and back. You can see they've actually gone slightly worn here, especially along the top here. They feel pretty bad and in my opinion they look pretty bad. If we go around to the back, there's also one there as well. So this one has worn really badly in particular here. You can see there's a lot of wearing over here and I think this is to do with maybe the products that have been used to clean it. So in an upcoming video, these two parts, the front and the back I just showed you, are actually going gloss carbon. So keep your eyes out for that. So the next point I want to highlight about something that irritates me about this car is actually the ride quality. This is something I both like and hate at the same time. I like the look of the seats. I like the leather, I like this sort of Alcantara type feel here. I also like how well that they hold me, but for this video, they're very unforgiving. There isn't much movement in them, which is sort of what you want, but at the same time, for a car that you're just sort of daily driving in, it can be very uncomfortable. So you have the unforgiving seats that don't really have much flex in them at all, really. They're very, very hard, very stiff. And the second point is that this car has Koni suspension on it. Now the damping system on this car is good if you're just sort of taking it out for a bit of weekend fun. When you're sort of trying to daily drive the car, it makes for an exceptionally hard ride. So with the dampers and the seats together, it's very, very, very hard. I'll have to try and demonstrate this a bit later in the video, maybe going over some bumps or something. So for this next point, I've actually had to come inside the car. Plus someone's decided to start mowing their lawn, which is really irritating, but I suppose I'm in their area. So the doors down here are actually quite large. It's a small car, but I mean, they run right from here all the way back to the back of the seat, the pillar. I mean, it's quite a large surface area, if you can take a sort of better look. So what happens quite often, so I go to open the door and then they just swing back. Well, they don't open properly. I mean, I'm giving it a pretty good shove. And they just keep swinging back. I mean, you really have to push it quite far. We can see from the outside, the actual length of the car, the door, is actually quite a big proportion of it. So this may seem like quite a trivial point, but when you're trying to get out the car in a hurry, and you have to open the door multiple times and it comes back and hits you, it's very annoying. No one's trying to pretend that the Abarth range are going to be saloon and capable of carrying lots of people. This is a super mini after all, but it's really annoying that we have these quite nice leather rear seats, and in fact they're sort of completely unusable. So you pull a little tab here, pull the seat forward. I mean, there's enough space to get in, but then when you're actually in, it's actually impossible to use them. I mean, I've tried to have adults and you can't have more than one sort of fully grown adult sitting in these seats at a time. If I can come in. Right. If I get the seats. So I'm sitting up fairly straight. I do have a bit of a slouch right now, but my head is still touching the top. And as you can see down here, there's no way I could sit up straight. So that's one thing I really find irritating. And also, for slightly older people, getting in and out is actually really difficult. I've tried to get my parents in the back here, having to give them lifts and different things. And I mean, that's as far as the seat goes forward. And getting out for me is not too bad. But I mean, for someone who's a little bit older, it's pretty irritating. So my next point is actually about the exhaust. Let me turn it on. The cabin has quite low noise insulation, I'd say, and the exhaust is actually quite loud for such a small car. So when I was driving up to Corby recently, for example, I mean that was 2 hours, and the car was very, very drony. It was extremely drony. But on small journeys, I have to say I really enjoy the exhaust sound. Anyway, I'll try to show you more about what I mean from the inside. So for the final few points I'm going to make, I'm going to have to do some driving, so that's why you join me now inside the car. Hopefully you'll already be able to see how sort of jarring it is. Just so you know, this is actually a very smooth road. It's not as bumpy as the car makes it out to be. There are a couple of little bumps coming up ahead, and I'm going to show you exactly how stiff everything is. So it's the combined effect of the stiff seats and the quite stiff suspension. So I'm only going 10 miles per hour right now. I mean, I don't know how well that came out on camera, but inside the car it was very jarring. And the bumps, like I said, they aren't big at all. I mean, this sort of stiffness is very, very good for, you know, taking the car out. Like a weekend, Sunday afternoon cruise in the summer, it's absolutely amazing. But when you're just trying to sort of poodle around and do different things, it's not actually that nice, because you want a more comfortable experience. Okay, so for this piece, I've actually taken my microphone off. I mean, it's still here, but I've unplugged it from the camera. What I'm trying to demonstrate now is how loud, sort of uninsulated the cabin feels. It's a relatively sort of kind of spacious area for the size of the car. As well as the wind noise, and as well as the road noise, I can also hear different things sort of creaking in the car. I can hear things moving around, sort of jingling. I mean, I don't have that much stored in the car. I guess it's what they say, it's with Italian cars, right? This is what you sort of get. At idle, the sound isn't too bad. You can easily have a conversation, etc. It's not too bad. This is when you really start to sort of drive away, and everything sort of comes together. The road noise, the exhaust noise, then the stiffness of the seats, the stiffness of the suspension. It really makes for sort of not necessarily uncomfortable, but sort of an unpleasant daily driving experience. This is just my opinion, remember. I've decided to move on to some faster roads to hopefully give you a better appreciation of what I mean. All the windows are up, and I'm just driving normally. I'm not in sport mode, I'm just in normal mode. The reason I've taken my microphone off is because otherwise you'd get a pretty clean audio of my vocals. It makes sense to use the onboard mic on my GoPro so they give you sort of an ambient sense of how the car actually is. So I mean, hopefully now you can sort of see what I mean. I'm having to raise my voice just a little bit more. The next thing that really irritates me about my 595 is this indicator stalk down here. It's extremely temperamental, and I bet in this video it probably won't actually show what I want to showcase. The indicator has 3 bad habits. The first is that it just won't click on at all. The second is that it will click on, but then it will click off too early. And the third is that it will click on, but it won't click off at all. Now, I've actually taken the car to the Abarth technicians, and they've said it's just a flaw with the car. Reviewers say that it's character, but I find it irritating, especially when you're just trying to tell people where you want to go on the road, and your basically only method of doing that doesn't even work properly. You're going to have to go back to putting my arm out on each side of the window, or having some sort of elaborate flap system where I can pull a lever or a chain or a bit of tine, and a little flap will come out. I have actually done quite a few roundabouts, quite a few turns. And in this video, I knew this would happen as well. The indicator has behaved itself incredibly well. It's been There have been a couple little issues that I'm probably going to highlight them, but what on earth? The moment you say something, the moment you say there's an issue or there's a problem, and then you try to film it, it doesn't exist. So typical. For my next point that irritates me about my car, I've come to a local train station. It may seem like a pretty odd place to test a car. Now, I was here a few weeks ago to collect a friend that I haven't seen in ages. And the way you drive down, and then there's a little mini roundabout at the end. You just do a little turn and then you can drive back up again. Now, I couldn't actually make that turn. I couldn't make that roundabout at the end. And that's happened so many times. The turning circle on this car is absolutely appalling. It's awful. So what I thought I'd do is I would stop here and I would show you, sort of slyly, I would film people in my wing mirror here, and I'd show you that bigger cars are able to do it in one go. And it would confirm that this car has in fact got an abhorrent turning circle. Okay, we're going to a Range Rover Evoque, clearly bigger than the Abarth. Is that going to be able to make it round in one go? It was tight, but it was able to do it in one turn. So some sort of Vauxhall estate now. Going extremely wide on that. But can it make it round in one go? Also tight, but yes, it can. So we've got another estate, it was like an Audi A3 estate. I don't even know what that is. But no, it failed. But then again, that A3 estate is sort of blocking the way. And it's huge in comparison to the Abarth. So the Audi's finally moving, and look, did it, one go, easy peasy. These tiny little bumps are actually horrendous in this car. So there's another little bump. I literally have to go 1 mile over to get out, to go over and without breaking my spine, but either way, so I'm going to go wide here. And then I'm going to go full lock. You can see, full lock. And unfortunately, what you can't see. So this is where this got me. It got me really, really close to the wall. Awful turning circle. So I've decided to end this vlog in a more traditional style with the camera held up high, as you can see. I hope you found these points useful or insightful. I hope I presented them well. I just want to reinforce a point I made at the start of the video. Overall, I have really enjoyed my time with the Abarth. I may still have it for a lot longer, but up to now I have enjoyed it. I just wanted to highlight a few things that I found that I personally was irritated by, and that maybe you could take into consideration if you're ever thinking about buying an Abarth. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, thanks for watching.